Who knew being a mathlete was so dangerous?
Hello, Dreamboat.
Dana's in danger. Kill Christian Wolf, transfer all domestic accounts overseas.
Current vehicle?
F-150.
Virus to Triple Z.
Wipe everything.
Done. In the DOT database now. Reassigning the license and VIN. I have George Bull or Charles Babbage in the queue.
Bull, obviously.
Silly of me. What else? She is not your problem. Straight to the trailer, hook it up and disappear. There's no time. Only the trailer.
Address and phone number. Get it.
The Accountant stars Ben Affleck as a mathematical savant. He's masquerading as a small-town CPA, but really, there's much more going on. Does it all add up to something? Here's 5 things you might want to know about The Accountant. So let's start with the man himself, Mr. Affleck. I think he's really good here. I think he puts in a great performance. Now, how you feel about Ben Affleck's performance in this movie will probably determine how you feel about the film overall. I can see how some might be a little put off by what he's doing here. But I have to tell you, I think he portrayed the idea of somebody who struggles with autism, struggles with, a different way of seeing the world and interacting with the world, and at the same time being kind of an action hero. I thought those two worlds came together very well, and I think he's a reason that it works. Another reason the movie works for the most part for me is I think it's beautiful. I think the camera really knows what it's doing here. It's directed well. That goes for the action. There's some really cool action in this. It kind of reminded me a little bit of John Wick, kind of that frenetic action energy. It's not as consistent as John Wick, and we'll talk about that here in a second, but it's good. And not only that, but the camera is also clever in the way it reveals things, the way it lets you see the scene, the way it lets you interact with the world around you. And because it's directed well in that way, I think the movie is a level higher than it might have been otherwise. I also kind of like how this movie is complex. The characters are complex. There's not a delineation between good guy and bad guy necessarily. You're trying to figure out, okay, what's good about this person? What's bad? And there are several characters like that, which makes the morality of the whole thing complex. So you're thinking about it not in terms of black and white, but in terms of gray. Now, you lose a little bit of the ability to root for it in a big way, but at the same time, you have more of an ability to think about it. I think it serves the movie just fine. So I think overall I had a good time with this movie. It's by no means a perfect movie. There's quite a bit here that brings it down. The main thing probably, it's slow at times. And that's what I was talking about with it not maintaining the freneticness of the action throughout the movie. When it slows down and it gives us that character work, which is important, I think it lingers on it a little bit too long. I think if that was tightened up and we got the character work but with a little more action interspersed, I think we might have felt the momentum of the movie a little better, and I just didn't feel that in this. The other thing I didn't like about the movie is the plot is really loose. There's a lot of character motivations that aren't fully understood or explained. There's a lot of things that happen in this movie where there isn't much resolution or understanding of what's going on. So there are a lot of different characters doing a lot of different things, and I don't think the movie did a good enough job at tying that all together in a way that felt like you had a satisfying understanding of the world as a whole. Now, maybe that's fodder for a sequel. I don't know. But for this movie, I think it hindered it quite a bit. Overall, I feel like The Accountant is a good watch, probably mostly because of the performance of Ben Affleck, but also because there's some fun camera stuff here. Overall, I gave it a B-. Thanks for checking out this Your Movie Friend review. We'll get to the Best Ever Challenge here in a bit. First, I want to let you know, if you want to interact more, I am all for that. You can click up here to find other reviews, support the channel. We can connect on social media. My name's Aaron Dicer, Aarondicer. You search for that. You should find me on Twitter and Facebook and wherever you want to connect. Love chatting about movies. So do that, please. Also, if you want to subscribe to the podcast, have a great time with Andrew from the Flick Freaks YouTube channel, and then a guest every week doing podcast stuff that's called SiftPop. So if you play podcasts, just search in your podcast player for SiftPop, and we'll join you every week on the podcast. All right, on to the Best Ever Challenge, where we take a look at the best movie ever in a particular category. Love to hear your choice, and I'll give you a clue for mine. First person to guess mine in the comments, by the way, does get a point. We're going to do Best Ever Ben Affleck movies. Best Ever Affleck movies. There's more good ones than you might imagine. The clue for mine is, it's the one that he is in with Dominic Toretto. but it's a whole different type of high-stakes gambling. Take a guess at mine in the comments. Leave your choice there as well. And as always, here's 5 extra seconds to hit the subscribe logo. Just click it right down in this corner.